Hey everybody, it's Sean. This is sort of a response to a video that I just saw. It's been going around Facebook and the interwebs and such, called "How Does a Whip Break the Sound Barrier?" A guy named Destin from Smarter Every Day, and he brings in April Choi, who's one of my favorite people, the best whip tutorials I've ever seen online. So anyway, so they're talking about how does a whip break the sound barrier. It's really, really, really cool. Everybody should check it out. It's super interesting. I'm talking specifically today about, there's a point where they say they seem to have established that a whip will crack without a cracker. It just needs a knot.
What we do know is that the popper isn't necessary. Dr. Connie-Strass really wanted us to visualize the end of the whip with only a knot on it, and just look at how happy he was when his hypothesis was proven correct.
There you go. There you go.
So I thought that was super intriguing, and it's something I have never tried, and I still haven't, but I'm going to do it right now. So I took one of my oldest and most reliable whips, super broken in and loose, and I took I just cut the cracker off right at the base so that it would still have a good knot at the end. So I'm going to see if this cracks. I have not tried this yet. I have a few whips that I've done that too. Just got knots on the end of the fall and no cracker. So I'm just going to try some circus cracks, see what I get. Try some overhead, something where I can really put some English on it.
There you go.
Interesting. Huh. Try that circus again. Huh. Alright. I'll try a different whip. So that first one, by the way, was leather. This one here is a homemade whip. This is the whip, I've talked about this in other videos, that Adam Winrich talked about how to make a bullwhip. It's rope and ball chain wrapped in athletic tape with a slightly different handle design that I did. So this is just rope. So this is a synthetic whip. This is the length of rope, and it just has a knot on the end. Let's see how this one does. Start with some circus.
There you go.
That got a little crack. That is super, super interesting. Yeah, the action's a little different. You really have to focus it. All right, one more. So this is another plated whip. This is a nylon bull whip, about 8 foot. And once again, there is just a knot at the end of the fall. This will be our final experiment. Try some circus.
There you go.
Wow. Some overheads. Whew. All right, that is super interesting. So much cool stuff is coming from that video. The way that they caught the moment of the shock wave, probably more clearly. I've kind of seen it before in other videos, but more clearly than I have ever in other videos. And now, yeah, 3 different whips, leather and 2 kinds of synthetic material. And the whip will crack if it has a knot. More to be said and asked about why exactly that is. That's for later discussion. We can get a discussion going on video comments and such. But so, addendum to that video. Some questions. Now all these questions are coming up. So they cracked without a cracker. Interestingly, this one had a knot in it. And the knot came out, so I tried to crack it again, and it cracks, which surprised me. because I've been out cracking and had the cracker fly off, and I can hear the difference because it won't crack anymore. Now again, I had to put a little more force into it. Definitely gotta crank the force to get it. But anyway, so this makes me wonder. Clearly, the cracker makes a difference. It cracks more easily with a cracker, and the cracker does have a knot. So is it that same phenomenon where this, with only a knot in the fall, will crack, and this just extends it and also has a knot in it? Other questions that maybe Destin and April have talked about, maybe there are some answers for these. Is it about, there's what seems to be a bit of a paradox. The whip does what it does because of a constant reduction in weight, in mass. It tapers and it gets lighter. But then, if it's the knot that's important at the end of the fall, that represents an increase in weight, an increase in weight distribution, which is super interesting. So it needs a constant reduction in weight down the length of the whip until it gets to a critical point where you actually need a greater amount of weight. So I'm just wondering if maybe that's worth commenting on, if Destin, April, or anybody else who's listening out there, any physicists out there, have some insight into that. What is it? What's going on here? Especially since, as the video clearly shows, as the whip is unrolling, when it gets to about here, the shockwave is already forming, and then it kind of comes behind the knot in the cracker and pulls it along. So is the crack always happening when this knot reaches extension, and then somehow the cracker is adding to it? Because it's definitely making a difference. Any whip is going to be easier to crack, and it's going to crack louder and more consistently with a cracker, but it will crack without. Anyway, so those are some topics and questions I'm hoping to get some more comments on and some insights into. Thank you, Destin and April, so much for doing this.